check this out. I want to address some women, the men too, but the women, because before I go into this is something to where if someone is struggling with alcoholism or any addiction, the first natural instinct is to hide it, to keep it a secret, from their loved one, their husband, whoever, wife. And what they do is it gets exponentially worse. And in the event of trying to fix it themselves, it destroys them even more. And if you are a female or male and you're listening to this, I'm going to tell you something right now before you go to any of the meetings that you've been told not to go to. Because they tell you this is just go to the doctor and get on pills. And that's the experts, but they're not experts. They don't even know that they're working for drug lords, because I'll have almost 6 years with nothing from the pharmacy, just cannabis and hemp, the professional way. And I see it all. It's crazy because I take care of my body. Alcohol destroys it. Alcohol, it's death. It doesn't have alkaline in it like cannabis and hemp does that fights cancers and everything. And we're not taught that. The vibrations, the very lower nature vibrations of the alcohol, and it numbs us. It numbs our spirit. It can't grow. That's why we can't see things. It's designed, it's legalized in order to get into our brains and to change our thinking and everything. And then it's designed to make us wonder, why can't we handle it? Everybody else. Well, it's because it's not supposed to be around, truthfully. Not like it is glorified. Okay? The more people they have alcoholic, the more the medical industry capitalizes. Do you see what I mean? The more DUIs, the more split families, the more split children and everything. But if you're a female going into something trying to get some help, one thing you'll have to understand is you can't do that alone. You've got to tell your family either you're with me on this or you're not. Because once you do that, if you do this, it's going to put a strain between you and the family, your loved one, whoever it is. If they're not willing to get involved, because you have to. At family day, at anything, they'll tell you families have to get involved, but 90% of them don't. My family has not gotten involved one bit in almost 6 years. Not once. Not once. They'll come to the 1 year thing or my yearly celebration and that's it. And that's good. I respect that. But they have to respect me because that's part of the program of recovery, of getting smashed. And their part is they have to find out what part they played in it, but they don't want to. They're part of this new society to where it's don't talk about shit, eat pills, or don't listen to them, because if you're an expert over here and have money and all that, you're right. They're right, even though I can smash anything the universities and the fake ass industry has. So you have to get it into your head when you go in there, because I've done it before. It's like I do some step work or get better just a little bit, and I'm trying to impress them, but I'm not doing nothing, but I'm going down. When you fully commit to something like saving your own ass, because we were never supposed to have it, so you're actually special. Your higher power picked you to be an alcoholic because nobody else gives a shit. They can handle it all, and that's good. They refuse to look at it and to see that we have been lied to, basically. We should never be in the situations that we're in with this alcohol and drug shit, ever. But we are. So once you tell your loved one, listen, because I want to tell you a story about a girl of an experience in 8111 in Atlanta one time. But you have to tell them, listen, because it's a family disease. See, the female or the male. See, my behavior on the alcohol affected my family. Because you have my mom, an enabler, which all of them were. But anyways, mom being the biggest and most of ours is. And she doesn't understand the part that she plays in that, on destroying an individual's life. And I'm using her as an example. It's bad with her not being here, but it's all right. But she doesn't know that. It's not her fault. She doesn't know that because the TV's telling them, spoil your children, spoil them. In the older generation, they try to give the children what they didn't have. See? And we naturally want to do that, but what it does is it destroys that individual, because we were never meant to be spoiled and to have all these gadgets and shit. We should be looking up and paying attention to nature and everything, because that's where we get sober. The more I've been outside running and farming and a little bit and here and there learning shit, the more I'm connected to natural stuff and not pills and chemicals and everything by the experts and all that shit. It's all fake. It's nonsense. It's a control mechanism. It's what it is. Antidepressants and all that shit. But once we get to that point to where it is being detrimental, to where we're hiding it, we're lying, but we want that help. You got to tell that individual, listen, I'm going here, okay? And more than likely now, with so much selfish stuff going on, those loved ones or whoever it is over there, whatever they're doing is going to outweigh the relationship it's going to take, not just with you, but with the environment that comes around recovery. That's not fun. What do you mean I got to go to meetings and stuff? What do you mean I got to go to Al-Anon? You're the one that's got the problem. And see, and that's where we are. Because pride and self-image and their status in life that they've proved in a Caesar Roman Empire ruled world that was created, their whole career was based off of something Caesar and his minions created. Worldly shit. We're spiritual beings. We're not here for all that worldly shit, for that status to say, look what I did. Look what you didn't do. I'm smarter than you because I fucking made it in Caesar's world, not you. But yet, Caesar pushed the alcohol in all the lands, made the cannabis and hemp and all that shit illegal. That's natural. Pushed all that, pushed the pills and everything. Those individuals see it as normal. You know why? Because the fake experts are on TV going, this is the Lord's medicine. Minions sent out there by the big boss of all, Caesar. And some of y'all are like, what's he keep saying that for? Because it's rule. We're under Roman Empire rule. The New York is the Empire State. It's because York, England just transferred power over here. The Caesar did to New York, the New World, the Empire State. Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, implying the Roman Empire. Because Constantine created the Vatican and all that shit. But anyways, I'm just explaining to you that's why. Once you start to understand that it's not that we're not normal. It's the normal now is not normal. Okay? We shouldn't have all these gadgets and crazy shit. It's just forced on us. Once you can see how much shit is just thrown out there. Because your alcoholism is the same as your loved one's chocolate addiction. They can't fucking stop eating chocolate, but yet that chocolate does not hurt them financially. They can do all this and that, but yet it's destroying their health and their heart and everything else. But they'll never admit it. Or the one over here that can handle their alcohol, supposedly. They can get drunk every night, but yet they don't drink during the day or nothing. But yet they don't lose all their money and they don't, constantly obsess over alcohol like we do. So they're right. Based off of their whole selfish life. If they were poor, these, depending on what country you're in, pretty much all, but the poverty was created. And then Caesar creates his corporations, which means corpse because they're dead, and puts them in all the lands. When technology comes around, then they get rid of the cannabis and hemp and push the pills in the pharmaceutical industry, get rid of the cotton and all that, and bring the plastic revolution. The clothes like this that rubs our skin. And if we're eating poisonous modified foods, it's a mixture and it's doing something that is hurting us. But only us over here that's been hit hard with alcoholism and shit over time, looking at all this, we can see how we've been damaged on purpose, but they can't. So then you have to make a decision. If you can't see this over here to where I have to go, and you're with me on this journey, right? Then we have to do this together. Because there's more people out there. More can get done than just one, two or more. But if that individual has to go on that journey by themselves, you have to accept, I'm going on this journey by myself, and I will find a family within there and strangers because they connect with me. You know, this is worldly over here because the worldly is going to outweigh the relationship and getting involved and doing something that you don't want to do. Because the girl came in down there in Atlanta, 8111, and I'll never forget it. It was a female, and she was probably 30, and she came in and she was sitting over there, you know, just, and I was just like her. I always sat in the back, you know. I like seeing, and I get emotional, I do, but I love hearing things because I'm there because I want to change, you know. But I wanted it on my own, and I relapsed after that. But I had to go through my experience. But she came in and, you know, they read How It Works and Promises and the Traditions and all that, and this is AA, and their Celebrate Recovery. I've been to all of them, and once they got done, the guy, you know, was like, is there a topic for discussion? And she busted out, just blah, you know. And then she finally got it together, and she rolled up in about $100,000 vehicle, you know, and so she wasn't struggling financially. And she's with a guy that's got money, you know, but her alcohol has turned into her drinking a 24 ounce, you know, right after she drops off the child at school. And then from there, she goes home and chugs a 6-pack. And from that point on throughout the day, she's hiding her consumption, you know, the smell trying to, and getting it all. And she can feel that monster fucking just coming within her. And she comes in there and gets it out. But then again, she's afraid. You know why she's afraid? Because it's going to hurt her husband. It's going to hurt his career. You know, they can't know, you know, so, but you don't just come at this individual. You let her get it out and bleed, and she's crying. It's horrible because it's not hard to see it if you really, really, really want it. God knows where she's at now, but, you know, afterwards it's like we get to talking, and, you know, you have a child together, and it's the image, you know, it's like this. Look, what's more important right now? Because if you keep going, something bad's going to happen, and you might wreck and some shit, and then it's going to be even worse on the news for him if you're worried about that, you know. But that's where the individual's money, the consumption of money, just like alcohol that he has, is he willing to reduce that consumption of greediness and image in order to help his wife that's on the verge of death, because she's done crossed that line, that barrier up here in our mind, to where we've crossed over into the reptilian side, and it's just obsession, and that's it. It's it. Not until we can find somebody that can help us, and to help us look at our experiences through our life, our past life, and how we got to that point. And not only that, but to look back and to say, look at all these gas stations. It's all beer and liquor and cigarettes and shit. There ain't nothing positive. And who does that? That's our government. They make the calls in Caesar. There's nothing positive out there. Nothing. There's nothing out there that says to drink more water, get more active physically, eat more natural foods. You have to in order to beat alcoholism, to beat pill addiction. Since, you know, they're raising hell all over TV right now. But I tell people, I'm like, do you realize if we went out and spray painted everybody, their name and face on all the cities of the people that have accidentally died from the pharmacy? The ones that just went in there and have never done pills, got prescribed Roxy 30s and shit, ain't one dead. Oh, but they give the family some money. And more than likely the family now is addicted, so the death means nothing because they're getting some money. So they can go get more pills. See, and those people are over here too that outweigh us, the alcoholics. They're right because they got, not until those people are spiritually, mentally, and physically bankrupt and corrupted completely down to the bottom to where they can say, I need to look at myself. They will never, ever turn their heads around. They will go off to the bitter end. And it's rare that you see two people really, really, really connected working together, a male and a female. Like, really, I've seen it, but it's just rare because it's not stressed enough in the recovery community on how important it is for families. But then when you study this crazy shit with the Caesar and you study Adam Weishaupt and the Bavarian Illuminati and stuff and these plans that they had for this land, and it was to split the family unit, and it was to create poisons like candies and stuff, and to put wrappers around them that looked really, cool to the eye, and people would buy them, and eventually they'd get cavities, and then they could create the damn dentist industry and all that other shit, and give us diabetes and heart disease, and create the hospitals into the mega shit they are, give us the pills and the alcohol to create the recovery industry, which is $10-15 billion a year. I can take it all down. The fourth step in recovery is doing an inventory, a thorough inventory, not only on yourself, but then you get to the 12th step and it talks about we have to, help as much as we can and give what we have to the next individual for free. Not in this society. Everything costs money. That's why my story didn't go nowhere past muscle and fitness, is because it's like, oh shit. Somebody actually did do it and journaled everything and then studied the mind, and I've sent all kinds of people letters and packages and shit in this industry, and I know that they're owned by one because I'm always ignored. Because they know I've busted their ass. Everything, you're not the problem. It's not just you. The problem was put in front of us, and we bid on that shit, and we justify a horrible lower nature, lower vibration, disgusting environment that we live in. And it's like we're afraid. However you feel about that the virus stuff, it's sad because that right there was me. And listen to me. Everything that they're saying on television, which was created by Caesar, all that shit that they say on TV, and I'm not saying nothing against the virus, but everything that they're saying on TV, that from that to here and is the opposite. Do you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. The more that you live in fear and that you live, because the television, listen to me, the television creates fear. It creates movement within the brain and the mind, and it creates endorphins. It creates the same satisfactional feelings that drugs and alcohol have. So those individuals over there, because if you're going into this full throttle, and I'm telling you from experience, you can't just jump into that some and then jump over there and watch whatever it is you want to watch, because those shows, those certain sports, certain things on that television are designed to pull me and you in and to alter our thinking, especially the news, just the same way the alcohol and drugs do. Like when you approach an alcoholic, you want to talk about you drinking all the time? Hell no, I don't. You got the problem, not me. It's go to somebody about TV and say, listen, it's like, listen, if you're claiming Christianity, all right, why, and we're talking about two brothers going to each other in Christianity, and one saying, but as a fellow brother, why are you giving all your time to the television and sports and not a little more to Scripture? Why ain't you balancing that out? Oh, whatever, I learned more, I know all the verses. And it's the same. And that's how we are now. And those individuals over here, we're driven to where we only drive towards one educational thing, a lifetime thing. That magical diploma. And that's it. That's it. That's all we're going to school for in Caesar's world. So we can get a work permit and go work somewhere. And hopefully, and that's it. Well, yeah, man, that's life. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. We should be. That's why I study in all directions and I get so shunned because I'm like, I'm just doing what we always did. I pay attention to the heavens and I study and I read, a journal, and I compare how they write now, this new age, all this heliocentric and, stationary means stationary. All right, this is all I'm going to say, stationary. Well, they took that word station and put it on. They use it train station, space station. Stationary implies, you know what it implies. I can go in all directions, and that's why people are threatened that are around me. Because the ones over here, all they did was gave 40, 50 years of their life to an empire, to a company. Because if they cared about people, the companies would still be in this city, and still operating and giving plenty of people jobs instead of moving and creating AI and robots to work and shit. And then that way humans, but it's by design, but those people can't see that. Once you get some help and you talk to somebody, go out on your own and you'll be just like me and you'll find out a lot of shit you've been lied to about. And then you'll be like, damn, I am unique. Because people in recovery are idiots. They just go in there and sound good. They don't live it. You've got to live it together. It's the only way it'll work. And the only reason I don't relapse now, it's because I know that alcohol is poison. I know what it does to the soul. It destroys it. And they put the fake athletes out there that's controlled, driving in all the alcoholic cars and all the liquor commercials. And, I'm not saying don't to the ones that can handle it. 12 a night's too much. If you can't handle a glass of wine or two a week, or a glass every day, then you don't need that shit. It's doing nothing once you cross that barrier, and then it affects the inside of you. Truthfully, it affects your spinal cord, your mind, and all that shit. And I didn't never know that. Because all this is electromagnetic. Your mind, your heart, it's all working together. It's electric. It's like real electricity without the electricity that you and I have come to know. Because you got to ask yourself, what the hell does pump the heart? And then you got to think about, well, because I was drinking 50, 60 beers a day for a long time. Think about what that was, the damage it was doing. And then you're taught, oh yeah, all that shit's all ruined forever. Liver. Dude, the way that your body's designed, it's just like the plants and trees out there. Anything that has life, if it gets, busted up, it's going to fucking come back. The life within it, it's designed to heal. Brain, people, that's my whole point is their whole education, they've done nothing else in their life except for just whatever that was, making them money, and then all pleasure, 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 pleasure. Nothing else. No reading, searching, researching, nothing. No studying, nothing. 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 Just selfish stuff. And that's it. And then if they do get to retire, then that's it. They made it. And that was given to them by Caesar through our government that nobody even knows about. Because we are a corporation, the United States corporation. We are a business and we are commerce. On my birth certificate, I'll show you, it says commerce. And then it's like, wait a minute. That's cattle or commerce. Yeah! And then you find out you've been lied to. And it's like, holy shit! But those people, when you go and say, look, it says commerce, they'll go, oh, that don't mean nothing. It's like, I'm physically showing you that means cattle, commerce. And then you find out that shit goes back to Phoenician stuff and find out about maritime admiralty law, which is the law of water and the law of sea, which means that from the east to the west, that Caesar has complete control of all the land, all of it. Means that we're tenants in our own land. Everybody on the earth is tenants. All of our titles and shit goes back to Rome. Your titles on your house, deeds, whatever, Rome. It's crazy how it's all right in front of us. And that's my whole point is if they ain't going to get involved with you, go in there and get some help and then find some shit. Ask me, I'll put you on a bunch of stuff to get you going because I was in all directions. I had to get some balance. But then you find some truth and you're like, wow. And then you're glued to it. Not just glued to it, you're where you're supposed to be. You're out of Caesar's design. You're out of the world. You're in it, but not of it. Everybody over here is in it and of it. We're just in it. Looking at things. Because there's the zodiac. I mean, I'm Sagittarius. We should be taught about this kind of stuff. Because it's right there. It's every night. And truthfully, luminaries and stuff, the plasma TVs. Plasma is the moon and the sun. Plasma. And they get that shit and put it on the television. And truthfully, if you've been looking at a television your whole life, just go outside and start looking up at night, like at the orbs and the moon and stuff. Eventually, you'll get different faculties because your vision has been shut off. We've been inside most of our lives, and our visions haven't adjusted on long distance stuff, valleys and mountains and hills and streams, and our ears listening to stuff. It's always been technology, man-made and everything. That's why we can't get better because we want to quit, but then we stay inside and do all the technology shit. To get better, you got to go do the shit, do some meetings, and then get busy outside. Get busy doing something around the house, the apartment, or something. Stay active is the main key. Anyways, I wanted to share that. Love you.